Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about specific light requirements for growing your succulents indoors. So in general, most succulents do need at least or around 6 hours of bright filtered or indirect sunlight. Filtered light does mean that there is something in between the light and your plant, the sunlight and your plant, that creates a sort of barrier that sort of, filters the light out. So a good example of this is a big bushy tree. The way the light shines through the leaves and is sort of dappled, that's the sort of sunlight that would be considered filtered light. Or even through, we don't really have them here in England, but in America, I know you guys have those sort of like screens in front of your windows and doors. Those are good for filtering out sunlight as well. And indirect light is basically when shadows are cast onto your plants but still receive light from like the reflection. So I know some people like to put down like a reflective material on the bottom of their like windowsill or wherever they've got their plants to allow that light to bounce back up. But it equally works just as well with sloped walls, like with my windowsill. Obviously it's a bay window, so it's sloped, so the light's able to reflect off both of the sides that's sloped and sort of give light to the rest of my plants. Now the actual lighting on my windowsill does actually change throughout the day, obviously because the sun moves through the sky throughout the course of the day. So it actually goes from indirect to filtered to direct sun and then back again through that order in reverse. Now a good thing to remember, like today, especially in England, we have a lot of overcast, cloudy days. Now on a day like today where it is still quite bright, you can see on the camera, I've got my blinds open and I'm just using the natural light and the lighting's pretty good, I think. And that's a lot of light, even for a cloudy day. And you can still consider that partial sun. Now let's talk about the cardinal directions and what that means for growing your plants inside. North, east, south and west. But what's the best? Now you can use the compass app on your phone to find out what direction your windows are facing in. I'll pop out some screenshots as well of my windows. I've got 2 windows that actually get sun, so well technically I have 4, but 2 are in my bed, like the majority of them are in my bedroom, and there's not really any space to put any plants in there where they'll get light. Now that one is mainly northeast facing, so that gets a few hours of sun in the morning, and then my other one is southwest facing, and the south facing window is the one that I've got all my plants on. There's people walking past. Oh no, he's just gonna stand right in front of my house, walking back and forth, talking on his mobile phone. Now the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, so depending on the sun tolerance of your plants, you'll want to reposition your plants accordingly. For example, if your plants tend to burn easily, you might want to move them over to a more east facing window, because obviously the sun's going to rise in the east, so it's going to get that morning sunlight, which isn't as strong. The UV rays are a lot weaker during the morning, so it'll still get that sunlight without the harshness that are going to risk burning your plants. Now, for example, if your echeverias are losing shape, or if their leaves are flattening out, or even if they're stretching and elongating, then obviously that is a sign that they're not getting enough sunlight. So you might want to move your plant to maybe a more south-facing window or a southwest-facing window. Mine's sort of southwest. The good thing about a south-facing window is actually because obviously the sun is rising in the east and setting in the west, it means that it's going to get the longest period of light exposure. So that would be the better place for things like echeverias that do create like that sort of rosette shape. Aeoniums are another one. Now my northeastish facing window, the one in the kitchen, does get a few, maybe 3 or 4 hours of sunlight in the very, very, very early morning, just as sunrise up until about maybe 11, 12 o'clock. It really depends. Obviously now we're getting into winter, so the sun's changing its position in the sky. So it's going to be changing a little over the next few months. But it genuinely tends to get a few hours of sun in the morning, which is why I use that as my quarantine area for anything that has mealybugs. I haven't encountered any aphids yet, thank God, or spider mites, thank God. So yeah, that is my quarantine window. Now, if you're doing things like water therapy, obviously because succulent roots do not photosynthesize, if you're using a clear container, you do not want it in direct sunlight. It will burn the roots, it will damage the roots, and the whole point of doing water therapy is to make the plant healthier, to encourage more roots and to rehydrate it. The last thing you want to do is damage it whilst you're giving it therapy, right? So for this, you would definitely want somewhere that's either dapple shade or partial sun, or like I have mine over on this side of the windowsill, which is actually covered by my neighbor's bush, so it is extremely filtered sun. Extremely filtered sun. Really, if anything, it only gets the very end sun that's coming from the sunset coming down, and even then it's only for around an hour max. The same goes for your leaf propagations as well. Preferably east facing or somewhere that does get a lot of shade, because again, they don't need a lot of light. You don't want to risk burning or drying them out. I have tried propagating leaves outside, like in direct sun, and they always burn and dry up, and I just gave up. So now I have them with literally where they get about maybe an hour or 2 hours of sun a day. And they're perfectly fine. Once the leaves do die off though, obviously I then have to move them into a sunnier position, because that's when they're really going to start to stretch. When they're little babies like that, like my Pachyvaria shadecrii leaves, their babies are all very tiny and compact, and they stay that way for a very long time, and it's only after the mother leaf really dies off and it starts actually fending for itself is when it's going to start really searching for that light and trying to grow more. Any succulents that I'm rooting or any leaves that I'm rooting, I definitely make sure to keep them out of direct sunlight for the majority of the day. I like to give them partial, maybe dappled or even filtered sunlight for the majority of the day, and then maybe an hour or two of direct sunlight. Especially the rooting plants, because, for example, my aloe vera babies, they haven't got many roots on them. They're not going to be drinking up a lot of water. So the last thing I want to be doing is drying them out, drying the plants out, drying the soil out, drying the water, like all the roots out, and having to overwater them, because as we all know, and as I have learned from my past, you do not want to overwater an aloe vera, because those little buggies will just rot. I swear. If it even rains, they look at the rain and they just start turning brown. Now there are obviously some succulents like Haworthia that are, I don't want to call them low light succulents, but they can handle better in low light areas. Same with aloe veras. Obviously aloe veras, you can definitely tell the difference between one that's getting a lot of sun and one that's not getting a lot of sun. But aloe veras again are very sensitive, so they would be great for an east facing window. Again, Haworthias would be great for an east facing window, because they do alright in almost any light condition as long as they do get some light. Whether it's filtered, partial, dappled, it doesn't matter. As long as they do get some sunlight, they'll be fine. Another one that I found has been quite good in any sort of light environment is my Thanksgiving cactus. It's one of the holiday cactus, and yeah, it does great. Now obviously there is a period where to get it to flower properly and bloom properly, you are supposed to give it like 12 hours of complete darkness, and then like 12 hours of light as best as you can, obviously, and do that up until the holiday period, and then it's supposed to bloom more. I haven't tried that yet, but yeah, they do great in low light situations. I've had mine in pretty much every space of this flat, whilst I was still learning how to sort out my succulents in what sort of area. Like even my succulents on my windowsill are positioned in a way that they get the right amount of light as the sun moves. So that is something that you're going to want to take into account as well, is where the sun is at what time and how it moves across your windowsills if you are growing indoors. See, this is an indoor growing video because I grow most of my plants indoors. But yeah, I mean, if you have any questions for me, if there's anything that you feel like I missed, please do sound off in the comments below, or you can head over to my Instagram and let me know over there. I really do like hearing from you guys, and I especially hear a lot from you guys over on my Instagram. I really do appreciate it. And if you do have any questions, like I said, please do let me know. I get a kick off helping you guys. I really enjoy it, and I don't want to stop. Now, if you did like my content, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you would like to stay notified of my content, then please hit that little bell icon next to the subscribe button. It will notify you every single time I upload. Now, if you would like to follow me on my social media, all my links will be down there in the description box. You can follow me on my Instagram, you can add me on my Snapchat. I am making a Tumblr, so I'll have that up for you soon. If anyone even still uses Tumblr, I haven't used it since I was like 15. But yeah, that is all I have time for you for today. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye.